Wheat School on RealAgriculture.com is brought to you by Syngenta Canada, Alberta Wheat Commission, and C&M Seeds.
All right, we're joined by Blaine Timlick of the Canadian Grain Commission. And Blaine, when it comes to maintaining grain in storage, what are the options? What are some of the steps producers can follow to maintain quality when it's in the bin?
Yeah, there's a number of things that you have to think about and follow when you're looking at insect problems. I mean, first of all, you have to find the bug, and so you do that by monitoring in your grain storage. Secondly, if you find a bug, what is it? You have to identify it, and we have mechanisms on our website that can help producers and grain handlers determine what the insects are that they find. So then if you determine that and you find you've got a bad bug or an insect that's going to cause damage to the grain, you've got to think about what you're going to do with it. And really there's a series of steps that you should think about. So ahead of time, what is the storage structure like? Its integrity, does it have holes, leakage, air vents, things that would allow insects to get in. The cleanliness or the sanitation of the bin is another aspect to consider when dealing with insect pests, as poor sanitation or residues that has insects in it is a way to reinfest new grain that goes into the bin. Treating grain with contact insecticides is really a prophylactic measure. In other words, they work best if you put it on the grain before you think you have a problem rather than after, because if you say, I've got an insect problem now and I want to put contact insecticide on my grain, you really have to wait 6 or 8 weeks. Temperatures involved, relative humidity, and the insect activity, because they are contact insecticides. So that's something to think about. And then finally, fumigation. And for producers, fumigation is really not an option. Grain bins on farm were never designed to hold gas, and it makes it difficult to have an effective fumigation. And you also have to be licensed provincially to apply a fumigant. And so this is also a mechanism to control, but it's one that's very limited for people in Western Canada. So I think those are the key thing associated with that is to have a checklist on how you want to approach storing your grain and how you want to monitor it, and how you might want to put in prophylactic measures or reactive measures in the event you find a pest.
What about putting grain through a dryer? Is there a role for dryers in insect mitigation?
There's a potential for it. Insect pests, especially the store product beetles, will die when they hit temperatures of around plus 60. A few minutes at anything really over 45, 50 degrees is enough to kill insects. But the key there is that you've possibly dried the grain more than you want, and then you have to get that grain temperature back down to an appropriate level. So we use a lot of aeration in Western Canada for managing grain quality, but also insect control. And really the key is if you can get your grain temperature down to plus 15 as quickly as possible, any bugs that are in there will not be feeding and will not be reproducing. You might not kill them, and you can put in reactive measures such as using aeration when it's minus 10 or 20 out later, but you decrease the chance of that population explosion occurring.
All right. Thank you, Blaine.
No problem. Thank you.